So today is a very important day for all markets. CPI is coming out, and here is the forecast. As we can see, the current consensus is 2.9%. If CPI is over 2.9%, this would be bad for markets. If CPI is equal to 2.6%, this would be relatively neutral, so we could be expecting a bit of a small pump. And if CPI is below 2.9%, the markets should certainly pump. Now, why, you might ask? Well, first of all, if inflation is higher than expected, it means that the Fed will not be able to cut rates, and they will likely stay in quantitative tightening. That is not good for risk assets such as crypto. And if inflation is better than expected, as Trueflation would put it, that would be positive for markets, meaning that we have things under control and that we will likely get closer to perhaps injecting liquidity into the markets, which obviously fuels risk assets like stocks and crypto. Now, if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, what we can see here is that we are still holding the 200-day moving average as resistance. You'll remember that I've been relatively bearish here. Now, if we go into the smaller time frames, perhaps the 4-hour, we can see that we are stuck below this blue line. If we get a favorable inflation print, it is entirely possible for us to pump above this line, and perhaps this orange area would start acting as resistance. Now, in the medium term, I am still relatively bearish, but we cannot neglect the fact that we could see some kind of pump as long as the 200-day moving average does not continue to act as resistance. Now, Bitcoin dominance, exactly what we discussed on the channel, has come to fruition. We have now had our highest daily close of this cycle. If we zoom out and look at the weekly chart, we can see that we have started to complete this wick, and I do anticipate us to go much higher, right around 65%. Definitely something you need to consider, because whether or not Bitcoin pumps, altcoins have been struggling, and I think that this will likely continue until monetary policy changes. I feel like I'm repeating myself on this topic, but if you're new to the channel, this has been my thesis for a while. Looking at the Bitcoin spot ETFs, what we can see here is that we just got under $400 million of outflows. Once again, BlackRock are also seeing outflows, which is very interesting to see because we did get a pretty significant dump. So you would expect that inflows would start, but it has not necessarily been the case. Obviously less outflows, but what we can see is still $21 million of outflows for ETH. And really the only thing that we're waiting for here is the inflation data. Let's see what happens. Again, we already went over the most likely scenarios. Now, I'm expecting a ton of volatility in both directions, so you should definitely be careful as it pertains to trading. But if you are looking to trade this Bitcoin price action, whether you want to use the 200-day moving average as your guidance or these next support levels that I've highlighted on the chart, make sure to click the first link in my description down below. It will bring you directly to weeks where I trade cryptocurrencies. You can earn a 50% deposit bonus, which means that if you're to deposit $2,000 into your account, you get $1,000 back for trading purposes. Now, there's also a very special promotion going on with weeks to further your trading experience. You can see that based on your trading volume, you can earn certain prizes. For example, if you are to trade $100,000 worth of cryptocurrencies, which is not very difficult, especially if you're using leverage, you can get 90,000 Pepe as a reward. And all the way down for the big whales out there that trade with leverage, if you contribute to $300 million in trading volume, you'll get a Rolex, which is insane prizes. I haven't seen many of these prizes on other exchanges. So if this trading interests you and you're already trading and you already contribute a significant amount of volume, you might as well sign up with the first link in my description down below so you can earn these prizes and so you can also get that 50% deposit bonus. Something else that was interesting to share was this morning, we saw a whale get liquidated for 160,000 Ethereum, worth over $300 million. Now, he longed Ethereum and he was in significant profits, but then the price of Ethereum tanked. So I just want you to be aware of these kinds of things because we're always looking on chain to see what whales are doing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be mimicking these guys because as you can see, they can get liquidated too. I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about this and that they should be going long on Ethereum. And a lot of people actually opened Ethereum longs just because of what this whale did. Now, if this guy got liquidated, it's likely that you got liquidated as well. So while this data is always interesting and it can give you some kind of guidance as to what the whales are doing, it doesn't mean that you should just be blindly copying them. And another interesting thing that came up when I was looking at some charts today, I just wanted to share this with you because it talks about the interest from venture capitalists into crypto. As we can see, monthly VC funding for crypto projects is now back to levels not seen since 2017-18, despite all the recent government support. VCs are hardly investing in crypto right now, as we can see. Look at these levels back in 2017 and towards the end of 2018, and now we are 2025, and look at that tiny bar. Let me zoom in. That is a very tiny bar, which only equates to about $100 million worth of investments. All the way up here, we can see that we tagged above the $6 billion level towards the end of 2021. And I just wanted to wrap up this video with something I thought was pretty funny. Now, there's this guy on Twitter called Dr. Profit. To be fair to him, he has had a lot of successful calls in the past, but he's calling for a black swan event. Now, the whole nature behind a black swan event is that you're not actually able to predict it. But you can see here, he said, the risk of a black swan event is at 57% currently. I will update my calculations in the coming days, which depend on real-time data, including the CPI data we will see later today. And also, there's this, a moon like no other, a moon that calls for crash. 13th of March, blood moon. We are now the 12th of March at the time of recording this video, so let's see if we do get a crash. I don't think that it's linked to astrology as this guy does, but over the course of the past few weeks, you know that I've been talking about a potential lower low for Bitcoin. Right now, we're sitting just below $83,000, and the key level that I'm looking at is around 83.5K, which is exactly where the 200-day moving average is found. Now, if this continues to act as resistance, it's highly likely that we will be putting in another low, which is why I have been shorting the market. As always, if you want to trade with me, you have that first link in my description down below. Make sure to sign up. You got some crazy bonuses there as well. And that sums up today's video. We have the CPI coming out, which is the most important aspect that you need to consider. Now, I wouldn't be overly long or overly short here. You need to assess what the price action actually gives us and be patient when it comes to trading. Make sure you're taking calculated risks and you're not just blindly going in either direction. I hope you enjoyed today's quick video update. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.